Holy shit! The last video got like 15 whole views. That's 10 and 15 put together. Way more than the amount of views I was expecting to get. Guess I'm making this a series. Woo! Here's episode 2, or rather 0.2, of Days of Art Fight. Yay! Firstly, I wish I could say that I had like a funny intro gag to pick off this video after the very funny little skit of the last video, but unfortunately I don't, because I'm writing the script like a day after I saw that my first video did remotely well. Also, I realized too late that I forgot to mention what art fight team I'm actually on, so then I'm going to be remedying that by declaring that this art fight throughout July 2024, I'm going to be on Team Stardust. If you follow me on any other social media like Tumblr or Discord, you know I have a bit of a space theme going on with basically everything I do, so this team was kind of a given for me. I will do friendly fire, but I prioritize revenges against the opposing team over attacking my fellow Stardust. So if you're on Team Steve Home, consider yourself on my hit list. And speaking of my hit list, behold my list of soon-to-be victims. We got Ampro, Feral, humans/humanoids, weird little guys, robots, and monsters. I also didn't have room to write this, but I'm probably going to be heavily biased towards fan characters from my current hyperfixations, such as Hasterfield or the Magnus Archives. With that being said, let's get to discussing the actual character I made this whole video for. Woo! Giggles is a newer character of mine made for a D&D campaign. It's set to start in like 6 months or so. That I already have a lot of lore because I'm just obsessed. Basically, this guy's a gnoll, which is a hyena if it got up, walked on 2 legs, and spoke common. He's also a warlock, worshipping a to-be-named hyena god that represents chaos and nonconformity. Basically, just anything that happens to be outside of what society has labeled as right and natural. Because my dungeon master didn't have much lore around gnolls, they basically gave me free reign to come up with whoever lore I wanted for them, and for that I am very grateful. Edmund, if you're watching this, thank you so much. While I won't have time to summarize his entire backstory in just this video, I will say this backstory deals with a lot of feelings of belonging and being an outsider, trying to reconnect with your roots, and embracing all the things that make you weird. He's just looking for that sense of belonging that he'd found in the circus he lived in as a kid, and later lost when he was recruited to be a court jester by the Emperor, and honestly I love him for that. Due to a lot of the, basically free reign that my very kind dungeon master gave me when writing out the lore for Giggles and how Gnoll society works as a whole, I've honestly found myself incorporating a lot of, my own experiences as a neurodivergent person, and as, a trans person, and even as, a person of indigenous descent, into his own story, you know? For instance, indigenous people, especially in Canada, they live on not very great, terrain usually, having poor access to clean drinking water, and generally more predisposed to poverty, and typically have a higher chance of abusing drugs due to all the systemic issues that have happened to them. In a way, gnolls too, based on the world building that I've created, have also experienced that similar just ingrained bias towards them throughout society, where they live in a world that's basically built to be hostile towards them. So yeah, I'm kind of really proud of all the lore and stuff I came up with this guy. So yeah, that's Giggles for you. Let me know if you think of this silly little guy, or if you want to hear the multiple paragraphs of backstory I have for him that I had to cut for time in this specific video. See you guys in the next one, I guess. Woo!